Hello and welcome to the Rainy Night Listens podcast. I'm Hailey.
And I'm Wyatt, and this is the podcast that you save for a rainy night instead of a rainy day.
Alrighty. Today we are going to be talking about the Bell Witch haunting. Are you at all familiar with this one?
No. I do not think I've heard anything of this one before.
I can't say how much I enjoy every single time I ask you, hey, do you know about this one? And you say no, because then I get to be the one to tell you about it.
Yeah, that's why I like on the FNAF 2 one when I was so excited and then we had to take to it. I was like, it's not going to be as good the second time around.
Right. John Bell was born in 1750 in Halifax County, North Carolina. He grew up on a farm where he learned how to run one and also attended school. So he grew up working super hard, graduated, all of that good stuff. And then in 1782, he married his wife, Lucy. They had 6 children, and
Dang.
soon they... Right? What families have 6 children?
6, that's so many. I couldn't imagine having 5 siblings or anything
yeah,
like
me
that.
neither, lol.
Lol.
And soon they realized that they did not have enough room in their home, so they decided to pack up and move to a larger location. In 1804, John Bell, along with his wife and children, moved to Robertson County in Tennessee, which is presently known as Adams, Tennessee. Here, they purchased a large plot of land and a home, and over the next few years, they continued buying more and more land until they had accumulated around 320 acres along the Red River.
Wow. That's crazy.
That's so much.
Imagine being able to actually buy land without it being exorbitantly
Couldn't be us, lol.
Couldn't be us.
They used this land to farm, and they spent their time working in their fields, working within the Red River Baptist Church, where John was an elder, and spent time with others within the settlement. Their older children eventually began to grow up and get married, and John and his wife actually had 3 more children after they had moved to this area.
So they had 9 kids?
Yeah.
Wow.
So
she was a strong lady.
Right? Yeah. Ladies are built different.
Yeah.
So everything was going great for the family, and they couldn't be happier. Dun dun dun.
Yeah. But then the Fire Nation attacked.
Exactly. Pretty much. So, in 1817, John Bell was out working in one of his cornfields when he came upon an animal that he had never seen before sitting in one of the rows of corn. This creature was described as having the head of a rabbit but the body of a dog. So John Bell, taken aback by the sight of this creature, pulled out his gun and shot a few times before the strange animal vanished deeper into the field.
Do you think he shot at it, or do you think he just hoped the loud noise would scare it off?
I think he was shooting at it. Like, I saw a couple of different places where it said that he actually shot it, but it ran away. But then there were a couple of other ones that said that he shot towards it, but didn't hit it, and it ran away. So, there's a lot of this story that there's like a few different accounts of what actually happened. Just because there were so many people who, like, came and experienced it for themselves, or so many people who, wrote the stories and stuff, and so, kind of overall, everyone knows that something really weird happened. It's just kind of a matter of how much of it do you believe versus how much of it was blown up.
Yeah, out of proportion.
Yeah.
Movie magic.
Yeah. So not long after that, one of the Bell's sons reported seeing a strange-looking bird of extraordinary size. So the son thought that, I can't remember if he thought it was a turkey or like a pheasant, but he went to shoot at it, and then it opened up its wings and started flying away, and it, like, freaked him out because of how huge the bird was. Like, he realized it wasn't the bird that he thought it was.
Yeah.
And so that happened around the same time.
I've been there. I've already told you this story, but like when I was working and I walked I was walking past these train tracks and there was a pigeon that was freaking out. It's like, what the heck is going on? And then like just a full-sized eagle lands like 10 feet away from me on the rail. I did not realize how big they were.
Dude.
And when it made eye contact with me, I was like, if that thing was extra hungry today, I'd be dead. Like, they're huge. It's weird how big they are.
So giant. It's crazy.
Yeah, you don't get scale when you're looking up at them in the sky at all. Like, their wingspan is huge.
Oh my goodness. So then, again, around the same time, Betsy Bell, their daughter, claimed that she saw what looked like a young girl in a green dress swinging in the trees in the forest near their home.
Huh.
Yeah.
Swinging in the trees? Like, swinging from tree to tree, or just swinging, like, on a swing set in the trees?
So, whenever I had first read that, I took it as, like kind of like...
Yeah,
like loose
okay.
kind of swinging,
Yeah.
But whenever I was like looking into it more, I think that people think that it's like she was like swinging from like branch to branch.
Okay.
It wasn't like...
It wasn't the
as dark
rope
as
neck.
I had yeah, it wasn't the bent neck lady.
Okay.
So
it makes me feel a little better.
Yeah, but still super weird.
Yeah.
While at dinner one night, the family heard what sounded like something knocking on the outside walls of their home. A couple of John's sons went outside to see if they could figure out what was causing these sounds, but they weren't able to find anyone or anything. And then over the next few weeks, the Bell family continued to hear the sounds of something banging on the outside of their house, but they were never able to locate the source. And so, like, John Bell, the dad, would, like, wait until those banging sounds were happening, and then he would, like, book it outside to see if he could catch whoever was doing it.
Yeah.
And there was never anyone outside. In addition to these things, other strange things began happening.
Of course.
But before we get into that,
shoot. It's the time.
Hagen's historical word of the day.
What's it gonna be?
Scent.
Ooh, scent. All right. You heard it here first, folks.
Heard it here first. We heard it first. You'll hear it second when this goes up.
Yeah,
but
haha.
Nerds.
Imagine hearing it second.
Could not be us for real.
Could not be us for real.
For real.
The Bell sons began waking up at night because they were hearing what sounded like rats chewing on their bedposts. However, when they would look, they couldn't find anything, but the sounds would continue.
Oh my gosh.
All of the kids eventually began experiencing something pulling off their bed covers at night and throwing their blankets on the floor, and the family claimed that it sounded like there were chains that were being dragged along the floor at night, and they even heard what sounded like dogs fighting and growling, but they could never see anything.
Any dogs?
Yeah.
Huh.
The children also began experiencing scratching and hair pulling. Betsy reportedly got the worst of it because she was pinched, slapped, and sometimes even stuck with pins. And the family claimed that they could see the welts and handprints that were left on her body after she was attacked by this invisible entity.
That's crazy. Betsy being the wife, right? The mother.
She's the daughter.
Oh yeah, Betsy Bell was one of the daughters.
Yeah, so Lucy is the wife.
Lucy's the mother.
Betsy's one of the daughters.
How many daughters were there?
I don't know off the top of my head.
That's fair. There were 9 kids.
Yeah.
Still, that's really sad. Was she like one of the younger ones?
Yeah, I think
she was
the youngest.
Seems like
daughter,
usually with,
I think.
Not to like try to jump to conclusions, but going off both the name and the picture, clearly it's theorized it was a witch, but it always seems like they always target the youngest kids.
Yeah.
in accounts of witches and stuff, they always target the youngest and girls specifically usually.
Yeah. Well, so she was like the youngest daughter, but she wasn't the youngest kid. Like I think that a couple of her brothers were younger than her.
Oh.
But she was still one of the younger kids because she was still at home. Like she wasn't one of the older kids that
could go out in the world. Yeah.
And got married and stuff. So the family began hearing whispering throughout their home, which they described as sounding almost like an old lady like singing.
Ugh.
And as these whispers began becoming more and more frequent, the attacks on Betsy began growing more and more frequent and aggressive. So the Bell family, up until this point, had not told anyone else in the settlement about these experiences. And so once the attacks on Betsy had increased to the point where they had, John finally confided in one of his close friends named James Johnston and told him about everything that they had been experiencing and that they didn't know what to do. And James didn't really believe that there was something ominous or paranormal going on, but he agreed to have himself and his wife spend the night in the Bell's home to see if they could also experience anything. So the night began like any night would, with everyone getting ready for bed, saying goodnight to each other, all of that good stuff. However, once the Johnsons went to bed, they began hearing what sounded like rats gnawing on their bedposts. And then they heard knocking sounds. And then, all of a sudden, James was slapped, and then their bedsheets were ripped off of them and thrown onto the floor. And James jumped up and yelled, "In the name of the Lord, who are you and what do you want?" After he yelled this, everything went quiet and nothing happened for the rest of the night.
I was going to say, that makes it even worse, because that borders demonic if it reacts to that.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
How awful, right?
Yeah.
The next morning, James told John that he believed that they had an evil spirit in their home, similar to the ones that are talked about in the Bible.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, that makes you feel better.
Yeah,
right?
that's really great. I'm so glad my kids are in this house.
Right? I feel like I'd be like, okay, someone else experienced it, so I'm not crazy.
Yeah, I'm not crazy.
But at the same time, you're like, oh crap, I'm not
crazy. Yeah. It goes two ways. It's like, okay, thank goodness I'm not crazy, but that means there's actually something bad in my house.
Yeah.
That wants to hurt us.
Mm-hmm.
That's terrifying.
As time went on, the invisible entity began speaking louder and louder until every member of the family could hear it. It would sing hymns, it would quote scriptures, and could even carry on a conversation like any normal person could. It was actually claimed, right, that this entity quoted 2 sermons word for word that were given at the exact same time on the exact same day, 13 miles apart. And when asked who it was and what it wanted, it would reply by saying that it was once happy, but now it had been disturbed. And so they said that it could travel from place to place almost instantaneously. And so the sermon thing, it was showing people that it could
go to churches,
be in 2 different places at once and quote the sermons word for word and prove that it wasn't someone faking it or anything like that.
That's crazy. And terrifying.
Right?
What the heck?
After a while, it began growing more angry and began yelling insults at the family, at their slaves, and would especially go after John Bell and his daughter Betsy.
Poor Betsy. What did she even do to deserve this?
Right? So, it was mean to everyone, but it would also say really nice things about John's wife, Lucy, and would say that she was the sweetest woman on the planet and all of this stuff.
Huh.
And so kind of weird.
Yeah.
But yeah. John began to experience a major health decline as all of this was going on. His face began twitching uncontrollably at times, and he began having difficulty with swallowing. In 1820, he was more or less isolated in his home and was unable to leave due to his poor health. While in the home, he continued experiencing verbal and physical abuse from this entity, and on the morning of December 20th, 1820, John Bell was found deceased with a strange jar of liquid next to him. No one knew what this liquid was, but upon finding it, the entity, or the Bell Witch, began celebrating by saying that it had given John the liquid in order to kill him. And apparently, one of his sons had grabbed the vial of liquid and gave some of it to their family dog, and the dog, died, instantly.
Why would they give some to the dog?
I don't know. I guess that they were just trying to figure out what it was, but I have no idea. I can't make it better in my mind, but they tested it on their dog.
Their dog.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
John Bell's death is one of the only ones that has ever been attributed to a supernatural entity. It's his official...
His death was, officially just,
supernatural causes.
Poisoned by a witch. That's crazy.
Yeah. During his funeral, everyone claimed to hear the Bell Witch singing drinking songs in celebration, and this didn't stop until the last mourner had left the graveyard.
Oh my gosh.
So, with John Bell gone, the Bell Witch turned her sights to Betsy.
Yeah.
And began tormenting her and telling her to break off her engagement.
Oh, she's engaged?
So she had gotten engaged recently, and the Bell Witch was incredibly unhappy about this. And apparently, they would, whenever Betsy and her fiancé would go out on walks, the Bell Witch would, just sit there and, yell at both of them and, just make it a terrible time and tell them that they shouldn't be together, all of this weird stuff. So eventually, Betsy gave in and broke off her engagement in 1821 because she couldn't stand constantly being attacked and berated every time she was around her fiancé.
I don't think that was the right call. I'm going to keep it real.
Yeah. The Bell Witch, shortly after this, reportedly paid a special visit to Lucy Bell, John's wife. It told her that it was going to leave for 7 years and then it would be back.
What?
7 years later, in 1828, Lucy claimed that the Bell Witch returned, but it wasn't as aggressive as it had been before. And, her youngest sons would, talk to it about, scriptures and stuff like that. But eventually Lucy told them to stop paying attention to it and to stop talking to it. And eventually it went away again.
Why'd you stop? Is that the end of it? Seriously?
Yep, that's the story.
Their family's just cursed.
Right?
Find their descendants and ask them if they're okay. That's... What?
Yeah. And so, this story is one of the most documented supernatural occurrences. And, the Bell family farm is known as, one of the haunted or most haunted places in America. Their original cabin is gone, but they built, a replica. And I guess that they do, tours and stuff. But, they also have, the Bell Witch Cave on the property, which is where some people think that the Bell Witch went whenever it wasn't tormenting the family. But no one really knows for sure.
That's so weird. Why'd it leave for 7 years, come back, and then leave again?
Yeah, it's weird.
It makes no sense.
And so some people thought that maybe Betsy or one of the other family members had learned how to do ventriloquism.
And would talk.
And were throwing their voices. But they would each watch a member of the family, and the voices would be happening, and everyone who was watching a member of the family said it wasn't their person that they were watching. And so who knows what was actually going on. but people would like come from like all over the place to come and like hear the Bell Witch for themselves. And so like people would like come and like visit their farm and would hear the voices, would hear like the knocks, would hear all of like the weird stuff happening and couldn't figure out what was causing it and would leave not really knowing what was going on there.
That's so weird.
Right?
How would you fake someone getting, not faked, but like how would you slap someone in their sleep and not them immediately catch you in the act of it?
Right? Like, it doesn't make sense unless they were just making it up.
Yeah, that's true.
But
that's just, this makes no sense to me.
yeah.
Maybe it, I don't know. It's just weird. I'm sure there are details that have been left out. You know, like why did it care so much about Betsy getting married to someone?
Yeah, like it's really weird.
Yeah.
And I feel like people kind of use that as like, see, it was Betsy because she didn't want to get married to this guy.
Yeah, she just used it as an excuse to break up.
Or some people think because there was one of her teachers, whenever she was growing up, really liked her. Gross, but old times, I guess. Not great. But whenever she got old enough to get engaged and then got engaged to this other guy, some people think that he was causing like all of like the scary stuff and was tormenting them until they called it off, but there's also no proof that that ever actually happened either.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Yeah. And so like there's like a whole bunch of theories and stuff, but none of them say that, like, none of the theories are that nothing was going on.
Yeah.
So, well, like, there was something happening here.
Yeah. Does anybody, like, follow Betsy on this? Like, let's say it was, like, a witch. Mm-hmm. And it took a liking to Betsy specifically. It left shortly after she broke off her engagement, right?
Yeah.
Like, who's... If we're in the spirit of it being a witch, what if it just, like, took to her, it was like, hey, I'll stop bothering your family, but you belong to me type thing? Yeah. Like, I know that's a stretch, but, like, it always seems like they have an ulterior motive, you know, like, how can I get my claws into someone, you know?
Yeah.
Like, hey, I killed your father, I can do a lot worse.
That's true. I didn't think about that. Like, maybe it did still hang around and everything. It just
wasn't aggressive because she agreed to something she shouldn't have agreed to.
Yeah. But some people think that this is like what like the Blair Witch Project was loosely based off of. And like there have been like a whole bunch of movies and books and all sorts of stuff that have been written based off of the Bell Witch haunting.
Gotcha. That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I had never heard of this one before.
Yeah, it's
and they never tested and figured out what the heck the liquid was. It's just death.
Yeah, it's just liquid death apparently.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't feed it to humans or dogs. That's what they learned.
Yeah. Pour it down the sink, I guess.
Yeah.
That's probably what they did. Or just poured it out outside. I don't know. That's just... It's so abrupt, you know?
Yeah.
It's...
Like, it just ends.
Yeah. The information just ends.
Yeah.
It's weird.
But that's all that we've got on the Bell Witch haunting. So let us know what you guys think.
Yeah, this one's a strange one.
Yeah. Do you think it's real? Do you think that one of the family members was faking it for the attention? What do you guys think? Definitely let us know, because it's a weird one. So, thanks, and we'll catch you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.